Good afternoon, everyone. We'll be talking today about spirals and how we can integrate them into our classroom. So you may be here, you may be an educator in the K through 12 classroom. You may be an administrator. Or you could also be a district curriculum specialist. So this particular presentation will be able to help each person to integrate technology into their classes. So we're going to be introducing the spiral and how we can integrate that into our classroom. We're going to be talking about physics as well as science and math, and then we're going to talk about how we can use this little robot cross-curricular. Look at this short clip, about 10 seconds. So we can see from this short clip of 11 seconds how engaged the students are and how enthused they are about their robots, and they're working together, and they're having instant feedback on what is going on with their spiral. Spirals on education, STEM or STEAM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And if you add the A, you have STEAM, which adds the art component to it. So Spirals for Education, formerly known as SPRK Lightning Lab, is an app that lets kids program their robots from a tablet or phone using coding or text messaging. Coding can be used in the block-based forming to control their robots. It's flexible and is a scaffold to help students scale their coding skills. Here is a 60-second kind of recap or know all about exactly how and what a spiral is.
They had these little white balls and they were changing colors and they were just all fascinated with them. And I'm like, that looks like the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. All right, so within an hour, I was completely and totally hooked.
When I started teaching, we didn't have anything like this, so this is all quite new for me.
STEM and STEAM and utilizing robots and technology, that's our way in with our kids.
For us, technology has been an enhancing tool more than anything.
To demystify coding, I'm sure everybody has followed instructions. Even if a family goes on a road trip on holiday, they have to plan out a journey. And that, in effect, is developing a program that they have to follow throughout the holidays.
I see it as not a toy, but I see it as something you really put your knowledge in it.
Start with something small, and then ask students, okay, what can you do next? What can you add on to that? Have their ideas.
Allows you to be more creative with and build on life skills as well as the academic skills that they need.
Because you are opening their mind, you are giving them the challenge, and it was amazing to see this.
As we can see from the video, there are students from elementary all the way up to high school, and some were in college. This tool can be used in every facet of education. This can spark the interest in those areas where students have trouble with, math and science, to get them engaged and encouraged and build their confidence. Why spirals? Why are they valuable? They incorporate the STEAM education, which I said before, the science, technology, engineering, and math, and project-based learning, PBLs, personalized learning, and those 21st century skills that we're trying to capitalize on. Here's a sample lesson that could be used in the math and science classes, or they can be used cross-curricularly. So here's a distance time graph and a speed and time graph. Students kind of have difficulties with this particular TEK, so here's a way to kind of make it fun as well as allow them to learn. So you're going to use a spiral, and they're going to use a spiral to go the distance, and they're going to time it. Once they do that, they're going to graph it. They'll be able to graph the time and the distance on their graph. And when the spiral turns a certain color, it'll start. When it stops, it turns red. This is another, I'm going directly to the Spirals for Education website, which is available to everyone. This is a resource that you can use within your classroom. You can go and click science, you can click art, and there are a plethora of already laid out lesson plans or lessons for you. So here's one on the futuristic city. It's telling you here it's going to be a multiple day project. It's for grades 5 through 12 or higher. It also tells you that this is based on the movie Black Panther. So you may want to show some clips of the city and talk about the movie and what it all encompasses. And then you ask your children to recreate their own city using cross-curricular learning. As we go down, we'll see the English component, how they're going to have to read or write about their city. There's a reading comprehension part. They're going to write their own code based on their story. So you're using English in this particular part of the futuristic city. You can see how they opened it up, and you apply it, test it, and you debug it. So you're using problem solving skills, they're using higher order thinking skills, as well as reading comprehension. You see here where you can mark complete. This allows the teacher or the educator to see how hard the student has done, or to let you know that the student is complete with this particular task. Here is the math component. It's similar to what I just showed you in the previous slide about the graphing and converting measurements from one unit of length to another. The design technology component is the student will be using various materials. Recycled materials is what I would suggest to create their city and their structure, and they use accurate measurements and use 3D models. Here's the coding piece. You apply the understanding on how to create a larger scale playground of the futuristic city. They're going to use map and the coordinates, and they're going to create a program and a tour of their city to pair with their partner. And here's the science component. Just like we have portfolios, the students can start out with their portfolio. Benefits: the students learn engineering is creative, and that school can be fun and learning can be fun. It introduces them to science, technology, engineering, art, and math as careers. Coding, it fosters thinking, makers, problem solvers, and curious-minded people. The ISTE standards for students. Transforming education requires us to rethink how we teach and learn. The ISTE standards act as a roadmap for bold and innovative educators and education leaders to re-engineer the schools and classrooms for digital age and learning, no matter where they fall in the journey to meaningfully effective ed-tech integration. You can see how the standards can correlate with the learning. It causes them to be innovative designers and computer thinkers. The ISTE standards for educators. It's stating that there's a roadmap for helping students become empowered learners, which we all are striving to do. Hence the video. These standards will deepen your practice and promote collaboration with your peers, challenge you to rethink the traditional approaches, and prepare your students to drive their own learning. Here are some of the standards that will correlate with the learning. You become a learner, you're a citizen, you're a collaborator, you're a designer, facilitator. You see how all these things can go into what we're trying to teach our students. For educational leaders, which you all are, there are some here. So for the leaders, it supports the implementation of the IST standards for students and the standards for educators. So this particular sphere is not just for students. It's not just for the classroom. This is for higher education. This is for our educational leaders and for our educators. It's talking about digital citizenship. being a visionary, team play, team building, system building, and improvement in professional growth.